Good morning, all. This pre-trial review is in the matter of CFI 043-2020 and is being held by way of video conference before Chief Justice Wayne Martin, with the sitting of the hearing taking place in Dubai. Any orders or directions made during the course of or after this hearing will be issued by the registry in Dubai on the judge's instructions. The claimant is represented by Koshar & Co. Legal Consultants. Lead counsel is Mrs. Zoe O'Sullivan Casey. The defendant is represented by Baker Tilly Law Corporation for legal consultancy, and lead counsel is Mr. P.V. Shaheen. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Good, thank you. Ms. O'Sullivan.
Your Honour, did you receive from me a short note yesterday?
I did. Thank you. That's been very helpful. Thank you.
Well, that sets out where I think we are. I have nothing further to add unless you have any particular comments.
No, I don't. Well, I just have a couple of questions, Mr. Shaheen. Mr. Shaheen, firstly, do you press your application to alter the timetable leading up to the trial or not?
Not really, Your Lordship. We wanted to submit our expert report, and we thought that the other side may want to submit supplementary expert report, the joint meeting, all that. Now the notes have clarified. As Your Lordship rightly said, it's very helpful. They have admitted that we can go ahead relying on the expert report we presented. We are happy with that. And if the joint meeting is not required, the trial can proceed as mentioned in the short note. Only issue I find it here, Lordship, they want time to submit a supplementary expert report. So how would I do the skeleton arguments before that? Ideally, the skeleton argument should be after closing of evidence, is my understanding, Your Lordship.
Well, I don't think there's time for that, and that has come about because of your delay in providing the report,
yes, I understand.
Mr. Shaheen. So I think you'll just have to do the best you can on the information that you have. I'm not sure that the report and reply will add a great deal, frankly, to Ms. Radley's the opinion she's already expressed. And if it does take you by surprise, I will certainly give you the opportunity to augment your skeleton orally at the commencement of the trial in the course of your open.
Appreciate it.
Now, I have another question for you, Mr. Shaheen, and that is, Dr. Shetty. I see in your pretrial checklist that you didn't identify any witnesses of fact. Is Dr. Shetty going to be called to give evidence or not?
No, Your Lordship, he's not available.
Oh, so you won't be producing any witness statement from him then?
We have already submitted a witness statement on 9 September, Your Lordship.
But, Mr. Shaheen, if the witness statement is going to be relied upon, Dr. Shetty has to be provided for cross-examination.
I understand that difficulty, Your Lordship.
Well, it's not a difficulty. The choice is simple. If you want to rely on his witness statement, you have to make him available for cross-examination. So is he going to be available for cross-examination or not?
The instruction I have received is that he's not available in these months.
All right. Well, then you won't be able to produce his witness statement, then, will you?
I leave it to your honourable court.
Well, Ms. O'Sullivan, you don't disagree with that position, do you?
Your Lordship has articulated what I would say.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Well, we'll proceed then on the basis that Dr. Shetty won't be giving any evidence, either orally or in writing. Ms. O'Sullivan, you will have Mr. Chauhan. I'm probably mangling that name, but he will be present in Dubai and able to.
Yes.
Mr. Shaheen, do you require Mr. Chauhan for cross-examination?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll start with him. And then then you will call Ms. Radley by video.
Yes.
And then Mr. Shaheen, you will call Mr. Albar.
Yes, Your Lordship.
All right.
He would require an interpreter, is my understanding, Your Lordship. That's what he told me.
All right. Well, will you be providing such an interpreter?
Yes, he comes with an interpreter. That's how it happened in the previous.
Right.
I was also taking surprise.
That interpreter.
We'd like to have details. Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Shaheen, I think you should provide details of the interpreter to Ms. O'Sullivan's instructors no later than. Can you do that on Monday?
We can do it, Your Lordship. I'll get the details.
Right. And Ms. O'Sullivan, if your instructors have any problem with the identity of the interpreter, they should take that up with Baker Tilly.
Yes, it's more that having viewed the video of a hearing last month, I think the interpreter was actually Mr. Albar's assistant, and it was apparent from the transcript that there was sort of discussion going on between the interpreter and Mr. Albar, and obviously we don't want any repetition
Well,
of that. He needs to be a
Shaheen,
pure interpreter.
Mr. Shaheen, an interpreter must take an oath, and an interpreter's oath. The interpreter's oath requires the interpreter to assert that he is independent of the parties and has no prior association with any of the parties or the witness. So clearly, Mr. Albar's assistant would not be acceptable as an interpreter. So if he requires an interpreter, it should be a qualified and independent interpreter.
That's my understanding, Your Lordship. The interpreter was a qualified independent person, not an assistant. The discussion was at certain point when Dr. Albar did not understand the question. He was asking him, what is this question about? And that is what was explained. My Arabic is also very
poor. No, but no, that's my point precisely. I don't want to anticipate, but that's precisely my point. The interpreter doesn't explain. The interpreter interprets what counsel says.
Exactly.
That's
and
all.
I will, as I Solomon, I've had a bit of experience. You can rely upon me to ensure that the interpreter will interpret everything that is said, including everything that he says to the witness.
We will control in some ways, Your Lordship.
Yes. All right. All right. Now, I think that covers it then, doesn't it? I don't know if you've been told, but unfortunately the court hearing room is in use on the 2 days of our trial, although I'd be surprised if we need 2 days. Wouldn't you think, Counsel? I think we should be able to finish on the first day.
Yes, I agree.
One day would be
so we're going to use facilities in the Carlton Hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, instead of the hearing room. And the only other point that I would like to raise is that in light of Mr. Albar's report, I'd like submissions, and if you've got pen and paper handy, I would be grateful for submissions in relation to reasoning in respective expert reports. And at the risk of being unduly parochial, the case I'd like you to look at is the case of Makita, M-A-K-I-T-A, Australia Proprietary Limited against Sprowls, S-P-R-O-W-L-E-S. The reference is 2001 NSWCA 305, in which Justice of Appeal Hayden in the New South Wales Court of Appeals reviewed carefully all the English authorities relating to expert evidence, and in particular the need for the expert to expose the reasoning that has underpinned the opinion expressed. The actual decision was in the context of statutory law of New South Wales, but there is a very extensive review of the English authority on that point. So I think I would be assisted by submissions on that. So I just thought I'd warn you of that in advance. Is there anything else, Counsel?
Not from me, thank you.
Mr. Shaheen?
One question, Your Lordship. Your Lordship is available in Dubai. So is the trial going to be in person or virtual like we are doing now?
Well, the trial will be a mix of both. So, Mr. Shaheen, is Mr. Albar in Dubai?
He is in Sharjah, not in Dubai, but very close to Dubai.
Well, it's up to you. You can call him by video. Will you be in the hearing? Or
I will come in person, Your Lordship.
You'll come in personally. Well, it's up to you whether you call Mr. Albar in person or whether you call him by video from Sharjah. It's entirely your choice.
Video.
Okay. Well, that's your choice.
Yes,
well, the other thing, Ms. O'Sullivan, practical matters, you mentioned in your note the desirability of having the originals of the impugned documents. I think that would be desirable if they could be produced to the court.
I agree.
On the day. And the other thing that would be helpful would be evidence in some form. I don't know if the guarantees provide certificates, have the usual provisions about certificates from the bank as to the state of the principal debt as at the date of trial.
Yes, we can do that.
That would be helpful.
One more question, Your Lordship. If we are keeping the trial for a day, can we have the closing submissions in writing as well so that we save time?
Well, I would prefer to have closing submissions straight after the close of evidence. Okay. There's only one issue in the case, and that is whether the signatures were forged. And it'll be fresh in your mind. I would expect submissions to be relatively brief, and I think they can be done orally on the day. Ms. O'Sullivan, are you happy with that?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, that's how we'll proceed then with oral submissions after the close of evidence. I think that covers it, unless there's anything else from counsel.
No, thank you very much, Your Honour.
All right. Thank you both to council. That's good. I'll see you on Monday week.
Thank you very much.
Virtually in some cases and in person in other cases.
Looking forward. It's quite some
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cases, hearings adjourned.